Hey everybody, sorry for the delay. Welcome to my channel. How are you guys? Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Like, share, and subscribe. This week, maybe you have noticed the thumbnail already. It's not necessarily a murder case, but it might as well be. I mean, if we're talking about acid attacks, you might as well kill me and finish me off, because the damage it causes and the aftermath and the trauma, like all of that combined, a lot of people do end up killing themselves because they can't live with how they look now after the fact. Now, today, I mean, this story is about a girl here in the UK. Welcome everybody, by the way. Hi Lavon, I can see you're in there. Hey. Oh, hey, Crazy Cat Mama. Welcome for joining us. Welcome. I mean, if you are sensitive to graphic kind of description of things, it is kind of, I am going to tell you what injuries she sustained and stuff like that. I mean, you can already see on the picture, on the thumbnail, the victim is the girl, obviously, that's been burned. And then that's her on the top, should I say, on the top right corner. If you're looking at the thumbnail, that's her, basically how she looked before. And then the girl on the bottom picture in the top thumbnail is the perpetrator, the one who's actually done it. So, I mean, this story happened a couple of years ago, but I like, and I shouldn't say I like, but these things obviously are horrible when they happen. But at the same time, it's very interesting to know the psychology behind why people do this sort of attacks, why people choose to basically take it to this extent where they want to, you know, how do they say it? They want to scar you for life, like traumatize you forever, so that you remember what they've done to you, basically. So her story starts in 2000. Originally, the story happened in 2013, but she did a documentary on the BBC in 2018 about her life and how it happened and stuff like that. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what happened. I mean, if you've seen my videos before, the previous Murder and Moisturize, I usually discuss a murder case, like I said, but I just wanted to switch it up a bit today and talk about this acid attacks that's, apparently it's been on the rise since 2018. So these things do happen in America as well. I've got one little short story about a lady that it's happened to in the USA. It happens a lot, actually, and it's because a lot of these chemicals that these people are using, these acid chemicals, are widely available to buy. So you don't necessarily need a license. You don't, need extra anything to go and purchase this sort of stuff in order for you to do that to somebody. Now, as I said, hashtag Fenty Skin. I'm using Fenty skin care line that Rihanna's got. What I did today, though, I'll do the cleansing with you guys, but I find that the cleansing works better with water. So I don't know if you noticed, but I've cleaned my face just before I come on, hence why I was a couple of minutes late as I was starting up the computer. But the Fenty, what do you call it? The fat water. I'll be using the fat water, which is like the toner, while I speak, and then I'll moisturize afterwards. But I mean, as you can see, I mean, now I haven't got anything on. I've cleansed it. I've kind of washed it and allowed it to kind of rinse off with water. It kind of becomes like a soapy little, you know what I mean, consistency, and then it foams up. But anyway, back to Naomi. Now, her name is Naomi Oni. She basically was nearly blinded. Hey, Doreen, thanks for joining. Hi, Doreen. She was basically blinded nearly when she was left attacked, after the acid attack. This girl was 20 years old. right, when this actually happened to her. She was happy-go-lucky black girl going to work. She actually had her first job at Victoria's Secret in London. This all happened in London, by the way, at the Westfield Centre in Stratford. She had a job there. She was happy. She just received had just gotten her first job at Victoria's Secret. When she got the job, she asked them to put her on what do you call it, on the makeup section, because she loves makeup. You know, as you could see from her previous picture, pretty girl, you could see she, you know, took pride in looking after herself and stuff like that. So she was working in the makeup department at Victoria's Secret. Now, she didn't know what was about to happen that particular day. I'm just going to use the toner. Mind you, I try not to use any pads, so I just use my hands, you know, with the environment and everything, you know, save the planet and all that. We try and be a little bit more green. So I just use my hands. I recommend you using your hands for it all, to be fair. But I think, you know what, to be honest, I might have to look back on the videos that I did on week 1 using this, because I think it's been at least 3 to 4 weeks and I feel like my skin looks a lot better. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like it's cleared up a lot better. So yeah, I'm happy with the Fenty skincare range, to be fair. So as I was saying, this girl, you know, happy-go-lucky, didn't have a care in the world, had a boyfriend, you know, was living at home with her mom. Her mom had only her. She was born in 1992. Her name was Naomi Oni, from London. Now, this girl come back, as I said, from Victoria's Secret. She decided to catch the bus home. Now, what she doesn't know is somebody was plotting on this girl that day. Somebody was plotting on her, and basically she gets on her bus on the way home. She had this feeling, she says, basically, as she's on the way home. Oh, thank you. Thank you, crazy mama. As she's on the way home, she kind of gets this feeling that something, she can feel like a shadow. You know, when you're walking, we sense, right, as human beings, when somebody's behind you, right? So she sensed somebody was behind her. That's the best way I can explain it. And as she's got off the bus, this is as she's got off the bus. Mind you, she lives like 2 minutes away from the bus stop at this point. She got off the bus, is walking home, realized somebody was behind her. And then before you know it, she obviously feels this splash of a liquid on the side of her. And as she feels the splash, she said all she can remember is basically screaming. Mind you, she was still on the phone to her ex-boyfriend. Just basically, she said, bit bored. You know, he was keeping me company while she was on her way home. And she felt the splash and the burn. You know, I was going to say, as you can imagine, I don't think we can ever comprehend or even imagine how it would feel to be burned with acid. I don't know if any of you had family members. I mean, I pray to God, no, you haven't. But if you know anybody who had the experience, or you want to share a story, I'd really like you to get involved tonight. But like I said, she felt the splash and was screaming, and all she could think of is run home. So she decided to run home, bang on the door. Her mom opened the door, and all she remembers is her mom's face, the shock on her mom's face when she walked in the door. I mean, you can imagine she was basically, sorry, I didn't realize I had my earpiece in. She was basically burning up at this point. You know, she thought she was melting away. You know, like when you're watching cartoons or certain things where they, you know, maybe it's even CGI in movies where somebody melts or the alien melts away. Can you imagine that in real life? She was basically melting away right in front of her mom. Then they realized her godmother was there as well that evening at her home. So they took her upstairs, rushed her upstairs into the bathroom, soaked her up with water, and then realized that it wasn't just like her upper face, kind of, because she actually it splashed her in her face. It was her jeans. Her jeans had completely burnt away, apparently. So they realized they needed to soak the whole of her body. So as they're panicking and soaking her body, you can hear the 999. Mind you, in the UK, we call 999, not 911, like you guys in the US. But you know, they call the emergency services, and they're explaining to the emergency services that basically she had acid thrown all over her. They realized it was acid because of the strong chemical smell as well when they were dousing her in water in the bath. So, you know, at this point, she doesn't have a clue what's happened to her. She thinks this is a random attack. You know, she doesn't know what's happened. She basically, her eyes are shut at the moment because she can't see anything. The liquid had basically gone in her eyes. So when she got to hospital, I mean, mind you, her mom was in shock completely. Her mother couldn't go in the ambulance with her. She told her mom, go in the car, and she allowed her godmother to come with her to the hospital. So they took her to the hospital, and then you know, she gets worked on. Obviously they realize it's acid. She now is trying to basically get over the fact that she can barely, she can't see. They said the liquid had gone in her eyes, and so they have to wash it out with saline water. Now again, the torture of that alone, she said that they'd had to imagine the burnt skin. Sunburned skin is bad enough, right, to touch. Burnt skin with acid that has literally melted away. They've had to open her eyelids, pull it open, right, and pour the saline in there and wash it out constantly and constantly and constantly in order to save her eyes, because this girl nearly went blind. So I mean, the police then obviously has got involved. They're investigating this. They look into this and retrace her steps. Now they find, I'm going to now moisturize with the Fenty Skin Hydra Visor Moisturizer. It's got SPF 30, so you can use it in the morning as well when you're going to work and stuff. But as I said, the police is now investigated, and you know, in London they have a lot of CCTV. So they basically look at all the cameras. You know, they've got cameras in buses in London. They've got cameras everywhere. So they've looked at all these cameras, followed her route from Victoria's Secret in Westfield and Stratford in the shopping centre, and followed her route back. Now they find that there's this particular person following her, right, while she's come back from work, all the way back to her area. I mean, this girl was trying to go home and go to work, come back home from work, but they find that on her way home, especially on the underground, because in London you've got the underground train line, haven't you? So as the girl is traveling home with the underground, they find on the CCTV cameras that there was a person wearing, you know, the full Muslim abaya and the niqab. I mean, all black all the way down to your ankles, and then your oh God, yes, Laureen, I've just read your comment. An oven burn. I mean, sometimes I remember when I was cooking the one time, I'd burn myself once, then I did it again. Even though I had this glove on, you know, it was awful. I could hear my own skin going because the oven was that hot. So yeah, a oven burn. I mean, oil. Oil is my worst thing in the kitchen. I don't like even a splatter of oil on my skin. It's so painful. So honestly, it's awful. It's absolutely awful. So this girl now, you know, is basically has been followed home by somebody in a full abaya and niqab, when you can only see the person's eyes, fully dressed in black, you know, followed her home. They follow them through the underground CCTV. They see this person following her from a distance, but following her specifically. And then they can't see who it is, right? Because the person is dressed all in black. And what they then do is, you see, the police, you know, when they want to find you, they find you. We know they've got technology to find you. This person clearly wasn't smart enough, because it was a girl, by the way, but they'd looked at this person's bag. She was carrying a bag that was distinctive, right? A you know, like a tote bag, they call them, slightly big, wasn't it? And they retraced all the CCTV from previous days to see if they could find somebody with that particular bag. Now, the camera had picked up a young female, a black female, who had been traveling on the underground and had a particular walk. You know how you say things about us are unique, like our fingerprint? Your walk is unique also. If you have a limp or a slight move where your muscle, your leg, your knee, I don't know, you know what I'm talking about. If you have a slight something about you that the camera can pick up, right? You could be traced on camera from previous days. Remember, you didn't just appear from the bloody sewers and commit a crime. You were out and about in London, wherever that may be. So they will look at particular routes and, you know, put two and two together and figure out who you are. So when they found the particular handbag, right, the tote bag, they found this young black girl, and they follow her back. They follow her on this route. Come to find out, they look at, you know, how do they say, phone records and stuff like that. They then find this girl, bring her in, question her. She denies any involvement. Come to find out, it's the girl's friend, or should I say her ex-friend, a girlfriend that she used to be around, hang around with, go shopping with. I mean, this was horrible. She knew this girl. Basically, her name was Kanye. She was driven wild with jealousy, apparently. Jealousy over Naomi Oni's good looks, and plotted basically to destroy Naomi's life. She plotted on this girl's looks, the looks that God blessed her with. I mean, this is the thing, you know, a lot of the time with females, and acid attacks statistically affect women more than men, because a lot of the time acid attacks are done either by an ex-boyfriend, ex-partner, ex-husband, husband to be. It could be why it happens to women is because it's a lot of the time it's your partner's ex-partner, or your girlfriends or ex-girlfriends, somebody you know, somebody that may be jealous of you. Jealousy is the biggest thing. The green-eyed monster, as they say, is the number one killer. This girl basically plotted on her own friend. She had showed no remorse, the police said. You know, obviously in the interrogation room, she denied. She pretended she had nothing to do with it. You know, she pretended she didn't know anything about it. They then found text messages and things like that of her talking negatively about Naomi, and the fact that Naomi, you know, was so pretty and that she was jealous of her, and she just was basically hating on the girl. And Naomi was shocked to find out that this was a girl that she actually knew. The fact that it was somebody that she hung around with, you know, was around all the time. She said she was one of her best friends previously, but she stopped hanging around with her. Now, again, there you go with that. We've always been there with people that have that bad energy, can never, you know, never want to see you happy, never want to see you doing well. They're always side-eyeing you. You know, where did you get that? Have you got those friends that always want to ask you, where did you get what you've got? And how much did that cost you? You know, those friends that, you know, deep down, they're not happy for you. They just want to know and stick their nose in where, you know, it shouldn't be really. And the one thing that Naomi said that she remembers and she'll never forget is when she kind of had that instinct that somebody was behind her. She remembers the person wearing the niqab giving her the coldest stare ever. Like, the person looked dead in the eye, is what she said. Yeah, a frenemy. Yeah, a frenemy, you know. And it's just the fact that this girl did this to her. The girl had to go from having facial reconstruction. Apparently they've took skin from her thighs to put on her face to kind of obviously make her look as close as how she used to be. But the amount of hospital visits she has to go through to reconstruct her face, I mean, we wouldn't want to do that to our worst enemy. This girl has to keep going back and have these machines put on her face and do all this sort of stuff in order to have some sort of face that she can feel okay with and feel confident with, and maybe feel, she'll never feel like herself again, will she? But to get a little bit more self-confidence and self-worth and self-belief, I suppose, all the things that this person took away from you at 20 years old. I mean, she's 25 at the time when she's doing the documentary, and that's the thing. The bottom picture is the one that did it, and the top one, it's her, how she used to look. Compare the two. Clearly, the girl was jealous of her own friend. The fact that I think that she was light-skinned, maybe the fact that she was getting more attention from the boys, it's awful. The fact that they have to rebuild her whole face. The doctor said on top of taking the skin from her thighs, they've also took skin from behind her ears in order to create new eyelids. People, we take everything for granted, a lot of the time. We're looking in the mirror and we think, I've got blemishes, and this spot makes me look ugly. And we need to be blessed. Like, be happy with the face that you've got, that you're blessed with, that you see in your reflection, honestly, because we cannot keep wanting to chase artificial looks and looks that aren't for us. You know what I mean? This girl loved makeup. The irony of it all, she loved makeup. She was into makeup. She loved everything about her face. And the friend knew this. And for her to, attack the one thing that this girl was like so into about herself, people will do that just in order to ruin your life and make you feel depressed and down and suicidal. I mean, can you imagine? Wouldn't you be suicidal if one day this was me and tomorrow, like, my face is melted off and burnt off? We would all be depressed, and feel like I'd rather be dead, right? So, I mean, it's just horrible. It's absolutely horrible. The girl who did it, she was from Canning Town, East London. She was taken to prison, obviously, and she was given 14 years. No, she was given, sorry, in 2014, she was given 12 years in prison. And I mean, the fact that they had the footage played against her, the fact that they could see everything on the CCTV, that she followed her home, got on the same bus as her, got off at the same stop as her, and it was just, the crazy thing is this: the friend, when she was being interviewed, right, by the police in the police station, she claimed that Naomi only did this to herself in order to be famous, like that English girl, Katie Piper. Now, Katie Piper is an English girl who was attacked, who had an acid attack done to her as well years before her. And she, was all over the news in the UK. She's now a TV presenter. She's got a lot of deals from, I shouldn't say what happened to her, but I should say, as she recovered from her attack, a lot of places, sponsored her and gave her deals and stuff like that. So she is kind of famous now. But the friend who threw the acid on Naomi was claiming that she did this to herself in order to be like Katie Piper. I mean, think about it. Would you throw acid on yourself? You wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy, would you? So why would you do that to yourself? It's like the dumbest thing somebody could come up with. You were that jealous and that basically mentally challenged, right? That you were obsessed with hurting this girl, that you didn't even think about coming up with a decent enough alibi, I suppose, or an excuse for you to get yourself out of this. This is the problem with people that always want to do things. I'm glad they always end up slipping up, because that's how they get caught. Imagine this girl not being smart enough to cover it up, and she hadn't been caught. Imagine if she was just out here and this girl thought it was a random attack. Can you imagine? We had no cameras in London. This girl would have gotten away with it because there were no witnesses. She was dressed in a full on niqab and jilbab, full on burqa, you know. So how could anybody have known? She could have run around the corner, took the whole stuff off, got back in her normal clothes, and off she went. So I mean, it's just crazy. Since this attack happened, though, they're saying statistically they have been on the rise. They've doubled in 2016, 17, 18, 19. They've doubled. Almost 400 of London's 1,500 reported attacks in the past 5 years happened in the borough. So it's like, even in America, you know, there was a story about this lady, because I did a little bit of research. There was a lady that recently was attacked. Her name was Nafia Ikram. She was 21 years old. She is 21, I should say, because she hadn't died. She nearly died in an attack outside her Long Island home. Apparently, the attacker is still at large. This happened recently, and it's in the New York Times. It says that apparently around 8 p.m., she in March this year, she was leaving. Oh no, she returned to her Long Island home after a 10-hour shift at nearby CVS, where she works as a pharmacy technician. Now, Miss Ikram, 21, she parked her car outside, and her mother, who'd been in the passenger seat, rushed inside to use the bathroom. Ikram lingered in the car to retrieve some food and other stuff from the back of the car. And then the attacker apparently come out of nowhere and struck her with the acid. She said, bursting out of the darkness, a man ran up to her and threw a large cup filled with battery acid in her face before running off. The acid seared off one of her contact lenses, apparently, and it ran down her throat as she screamed, singeing into her lungs. Now, can you imagine? It's going to burn you all the way through, all the way through. This girl took it all the way in when she was trying to shout for help. Her family thinks her injuries could have killed her, but her mum, who also was working in the health services as a nurse practitioner, right, yeah, she ran her straight into the bathroom, doused her in water, and basically saved her daughter. Because what the specialist said on acid attacks, he said that a lot of the time, the psyche behind people that do this, especially when it's somebody that they know, because sometimes it is random. I mean, sometimes it is racial, and people say, go back to your country, and throw it in your face. There was a case in America of a guy who that happened to. So they are random sometimes, but a lot of the time when it's somebody who knows somebody, psychologically, they say that basically it's to cause that person, what did he say? It's not to kill them, but to cause them pain and irreparable damage, physical damage that reminds them of what this person's done to them on a daily basis. So it's more psychological. It's a psychological attack on this person. As physical as it is, it's an attack on your psyche, because in the long term, the trauma of it all, you will always have that psychological scar. And then when you've got the physical to look at it as an exterior, and then when you step outside your house, you've got the public to deal with, you know, who do stare. Let's be real. When you see somebody who is unfortunately disfigured or has some sort of is a burn victim or an acid victim, people do stare, don't they? Whether it's children or adults, you do take a double look. You do look. Unfortunately, we're all guilty of that. And so I think sometimes it's not just dealing with, oh, hi, Just a T. Now you got the notification. Well done. Welcome back. So I think it's a lot of the time, it's all of that combined is, you know, why a lot of people do end up killing themselves and committing, you know, suicide and stuff like that. So, this woman, they're saying that the family is now living in fear. She's a university student, and what appeared to be is an intentional, savage, and calculated act. It came out of nowhere. She says she's so lucky to be alive because it could have been so much worse. And the authorities are now investigating this. They're saying, the commissioner at the police department is saying that the attack took place in the Almond, New Jersey or New York. It's a diverse suburb of 36,000 people. I mean, part of the encounter was captured on a surveillance video, and the police are offering a $10,000 reward for anybody who knows, who knows. You can't see the chat. Go out and come back in, darling. I'm sure it's just a glitch, probably. But yeah, like I said, I mean, and this was a very recent attack. It says that the lady, she is born in the Bronx, but she's from Pakistani descent. So it comes as Asian Americans have in recent months been the victims of hate-fueled attacks in New York and across the nation. From the mass shootings last month in Atlanta area, which killed 8 people, including the 6 Asian ladies, do you remember? And another mass shooting this month in Indianapolis, where 4 of the 8 victims were Sikh Indian. I mean, they're saying a lot of it can be xenophobia. So it's just all kicking off. This is awful for this woman to have had suffered. And a lot of the time, these acid attacks, I'm sure you guys heard about it. It happens a lot in India as well. Pakistan, India, the UK. I mean, the numbers are through the roof statistically. In UK is the highest one in the world, because apparently in the UK, this acid you can buy it freely, so it's very easy to buy. Right now, I think they are in works of changing the law and making the law more stringent, more strict, for you to be able to purchase this sort of stuff, because that's the things that I fear. Think about it. If you wouldn't come out your house if we actually how should I say, if we actually sat down, took a minute to actually comprehend and thought about how easy it would be for any of us to be a victim of an acid attack. How easy would it be? We're just strolling off to work every day, aren't we? Think about it. You leave your house, you get on the bus, you get in your car, you get on the train, whatever. You just think everybody around you is just like you, and nothing can go on, and you'll be fine, right? We have faith, right? Hence why, you know what? Be blessed that this is not the type of stuff we're dealing with, or any of your family members, because these things are on the rise. I mean, there was a phase that there was a phase of robbery with acid that happened in London, actually, last year and the year before COVID, where young men were going around on mopeds trying to rob people. But while they were robbing, whether it's taxi drivers or random people, they would squirt acid all over you and then take what you've got. And so people were actually being sent to hospital with life-changing injuries. But these were young people getting on their mopeds, thinking they could just, it's a quicker way of robbing somebody, basically, and not getting caught, because the person is more focused on, how do you say, you'd be more focused on, ow, my skin is bloody, I'm burning and dying alive, than focused on these, fending off yourself from robbers, weren't you? That's what would happen. So I'm going to drop the link if any of you guys want to get involved. It's an open discussion as always. So like, share, and subscribe. I'll try and switch it up on a weekly basis, to be fair, and see if we can do different types of murder stories. I mean, this is not particularly murder. Some people do die, but it might as well be a life sentence of, kill me now, because at the end of the day, could I live with myself? I mean, if I really had to ask myself, could I live with being scolded and looking completely different? I mean, I would have to. I have my daughter to live for, but at the same time, can you imagine? Even your kids, think about that. If you're a parent and one day you're this person, but when you go to hospital and you come back, your own child doesn't want to hug you because half your face is melted off. Could you imagine that? Imagine that, because I'm sure your child would be traumatized and look at you and think, oh my God, is that even my mum? You know, or is that even my dad or my auntie? And why does auntie look like that? Ew, you know what kids are like. Why does auntie look like Freddy Krueger? I mean, I'm not being awful. I'm just saying this is the type of stuff that we as human beings don't realize can happen. Even the underlying comments or the looks or the secondhand, you know, ooh, look at her over there. We don't know the background story. Nobody asks to wake up healthy one day and the next minute your half your face is gone or looks completely different. You know, nobody asked for that. So I just thought it was a good topic to bring up and talk about. Let me have a look. Let me just go through the comments and see what's going on with everybody. Yeah, I mean, I know it's awful for beekeepers. No, it was, well, Laureen, sorry, you asked if it was a hate crime. Obviously, it was her friend, but I mean, friends, hey, who needs friends? Who needs bloody enemies, as they say? Yeah, and they did only give her 12 months, 12 years, should I say. Mind you, 12 years probably on good behavior. I mean, she'd be lucky if she did 10 of those, if that, maybe 7 or 8, and she could probably be eligible for parole. But then again, for probation. But then again, I don't know if they would still class her psychologically, class her a threat to society, because you would be a threat to society if you've got it in you and you're capable of just splashing somebody. Can you imagine somebody being next to her and being a victim of or collateral damage of your attack? That in itself, not just the person you were targeting, but somebody who had nothing to do with it. I think that in those parts of the world where it happens most, women don't have much autonomy, so taking away their beauty, especially 100%, 100%. You know, one thing my mum used to always tell me, it's funny, but culturally, it's a thing. I think in African culture, people know about this sort of stuff. When I went back home to visit family members in Africa, I was told to watch out because they fight different. I was told, listen, you're the girl from Europe. Okay, don't be walking around here feeling like this is Europe. Watch yourself, because if you get into it with some of these girls, they fight different. They will attack your face. Like, people, that's just what people did. I think it's probably education or knowledge probably has a lot to do with it, because if all you value is this within the society that you live in, then damaging this obviously takes away your value and how people see you or perceive you, right? But if you don't, you know, then again, the question is, where does vanity not play a part in the world? A lot of places, right? Like tribes, there's a lot of tribes, breast out, everything out. Vanity doesn't necessarily play a part. Those things are actually how do you say it, celebrated, or the man actually wants the woman with the long breast all the way down to her belly, right? Because it's just a cultural thing or what they find attractive. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy. How deranged can you be? Hold on, let me just see what else I've missed out. But no, you're right. I mean, my mum used to always say, be careful, you know, even when you break up with a man or if you divorce, be careful, you know, because if a man just messes up your eye or, you know, takes out your eye, hits you with something that gives you a scar for life, or, you know, disfigures you. Be careful, because people, men, a lot of the time, ex-partners or ex-lovers or ex-whatever, or even current, they can be jealous. Jealousy, again, the green eyed monster plays a big part. They can do stuff in order to disfigure you, because if you're not going to be with me, nobody else is going to find you. I'm going to make sure nobody else finds you attractive, is what it is. You know, yeah, watch out for people who copy you too, you know. And copy you, want to ask you about your pocket. Why do you want to ask me about where I got mine? You go get yours. You know what I mean? That's another big part as well. People always wanting to watch what you've got, always wanting to, you know, you could be the best of friends, but a lot of the time, the friend that you got who knows everything about you uses the things they know about you to attack you, because obviously they know your weaknesses a lot of the time. I know, right? One drop of acid. They should have taken the skin from the girl who threw the acid. Right. One drop of acid, though, even as a punishment on her skin, the girl that did it would have. I mean, come on, one drop would have been torture enough. I think torture enough. Yeah, and only 12 years. I know the UK justice system is not, you know, it's like some people, they want to throw in jail forever, but then other things you think, really, only 12 years? You might as well have stabbed her 20 times and left her for dead in the road. You killed everything she loved about herself. Let's just be real. Your face is everything a person would love about themselves, isn't it? Or should I say everything? You know what I mean. Like, it's a big part of you, right? Your face. So horrible, horrible, horrible. It is bad. But now, how deranged do you have to be to do an acid attack? To me, it takes a certain 100%. It takes a certain type of crazy person. Acid attacks don't just come about. You're a bit
Hi.
creepy. Hey,
I'm going to
you're
just be
right.
on here quick. Yeah, because I have to go live about this foolishness.
Yeah,
Listen,
but hello. I'll come and join you. When are you going?
like 7:30, I'm going real quick.
Oh, in about 25 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. I'll be done in a minute anyway. Go on.
All I wanted to say is the heathenism is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I mean, people call me a savage for this, but I've always said if somebody assaults somebody in my family, there is no place you can run and I won't find you on this
Yeah.
earth. I
Yeah.
promise. There's like I'm an eye for an eye. You better
Yeah,
pray.
but I mean, an eye for an eye. Would you go and throw acid on her? She's in jail.
Jail's not good enough because jail gives you 3 meals a day, and
Yeah.
my face is messed
Yeah.
up for life. So
I
no,
mean, is it
I'm
dangerous
sorry.
in
She
London
would have to
compared
get
to
the
other?
death penalty with me. It ain't no. What do you mean? My face is after for life. I
Uh,
gotta sit here and look like, you know, every time somebody sees me, they can see how you assaulted me.
yes. And that's the worst part. This ain't just domestic violence. Let me just beat on you, and then you're in hospital and you recover and the bruises go, right? This
No,
is full on. You're going to remember me and what I did to you forever, you know?
no, he would have to die. I'm sorry. We could allegedly, if we had to do it like a little gang war, and it had to become
Yeah.
an accident. But you're
Yeah.
not going to breathe air, enjoying 3 meals in jail, living your best life. No, that's not going to happen.
Oh, hold on. Just the tea. Just the tea. Are you in America or in the UK? I'd like to know. Navia, do you remember the friend that threw acid in her friend's face because she was jealous of her looks? That's the girl I was speaking about tonight. If we're talking about the same story, just the tea. That's exactly what I was talking about. If you're still here.
But absolutely not. I just wanted to say that. Well, now I'm going to let you go. I got to get set up because I'll be talking about Joffrey for people who know who that is, because he really pissed me off today with the dusty, musty antics.
Joffrey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up and see what that's about.
Yeah, it's gonna be quick. Prison's not enough. Listen, prison is like a luxury hotel for him. He probably had a dry mattress
Oh,
on the
yeah,
floor.
yeah.
No. By any means necessary, like Malcolm X said.
Yeah. Doreen agrees with you. Prison is not enough, she says.
No. But I will see you later. I gotta get set up. Bye.
Yeah, that's fine. No worries. But yeah, I mean, prison is not enough, you said. And is it worse in London? I mean, apparently the attacks in London are a lot. I mean, I've tried to look up statistics. It says that basically in London there were 1,500, I think 1,500 attacks in a couple of years, and then about 400 of them were acid attacks. So they do vary, I suppose, but they're becoming more popular. Remember, it's easier than getting a gun, a knife, weapon, or anything like that. You can pour it into a water bottle and travel with it like it's nothing. Because how would me and you know that that see-through liquid that looks like water is acid? You wouldn't know. People get battery acid. They use all sorts of fusidic, ferulic, whatever acid, any type of strong acid that you can go and buy from, let's say, the hardware store or some sort of shop. That's the type of stuff they use, unfortunately. Hence why, there should be a stronger laws on not being able to purchase this sort of stuff. What for? What do you need a bottle of? Why do you need a liter or 2 liters of acid for? I don't understand. Nobody uses it for certain things. Yeah, I mean the stabbing things is regular stuff. That's just the usual stuff that we deal with, isn't it, Doreen? I mean, the most recent one in Birmingham was, I think, John Reed, a young 14-year-old boy, but they're saying it was a 35-year-old man has been arrested alongside with 2 other teenagers. So crime is just up and up and up. That's a lot of the time what they use. Sulfuric acid, that's the one. It looks like water, exactly. So if you're here now and you've drunk out your water bottle and you decide to fill up the water bottle with, what do we call it? With sulfuric, did you say sulfuric? Sulfuric acid, how would anybody know what you're carrying? You could spray it or squeeze it onto anybody from a water bottle. It doesn't even have to be a full-on open top, It can just be the one that you squeeze and it just comes out like a little, you know what I mean, in a one line. The options are endless. Let's just put it that way. I'm not trying to give anybody any ideas, but I mean, it'd be awful. Death would probably be a better option at this point, honestly. The damage and the psychological trauma it causes a human being can't be good. It can't be nice. So, I mean, I thank you guys for joining me today. I won't go on for too long, but I just want thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this topic and whether you guys enjoyed the fact that I changed it up a little bit today, to be fair. But yeah, let me know if you have any suggestions or anything you'd like me to discuss on the I was supposed to, by the way, I do apologize. I was supposed to go on live yesterday, but again, sleep took over. I got to like 9-10 o'clock and I was just so tired. I thought, I'm not going to torture myself and talk to you guys and be half asleep. So got myself energized today. So I thought I'll just come online today. But usually midweek, you can catch me midweek. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit those thumbs up for me. And what should I say? Hold on just a tea. Let me just have a look what you say. And hit that notification bell as well. Make sure you hit that notification bell for all notifications so you get the reminder for when I go live. But I'll try and I will try and come up with, oh, actually, I was going to say, let me know if you guys want me to do some more First 48 or just random crime. I'll do some of that as well, maybe on Saturdays. So hit me up on the comment section, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for all your input in the comments, guys. Just a tea, Nabia, a black schoolgirl reported missing today. It was on the morning news. Maybe you can do an update on it. I hadn't seen that yet today. I might do an update on that. I actually need to do an update on the Laurie Vallow case as well. So I might do a little update on that. I mean, it's Thursday today, so I might just pop up again on Saturday. So, right. Yes, great topic. Thank you, Doreen. Fantastic. Yes, I will definitely talk about that. There has been a few incidents in London, even here in Birmingham, where children are either going missing or there's attempted kidnappings, and kids are telling stories to their parents about where they've been, run away and come back home. But it all seems to be a little bit of a, police doesn't want to believe it. Family members do believe the stories. We definitely could get into that, actually. Fantastic topic, Doreen. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate your comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate your support, guys. And as I said, keep your skin hydrated, moisturize, drink up. And actually, there was a lady that made a comment and said to get myself checked. I wanted to give you an update. I actually had my bloods checked, and thyroid levels and all that seemed to be a-okay. So I might have just had a day where I looked a bit swollen in the neck, but I seem to be okay now, don't I? So thanks for that lady, who I will definitely message you in the comments. I'll have to find you back on one of my videos. But she commented and said that I should go and get my thyroid checked because she thought my neck was a bit swollen. Anyway, I had my bloods checked, did a health check, all of that. Thanks for the heads up. And yeah, I got myself checked and everything's all good. So I appreciate it. It's never, there's nothing wrong with going and get yourself checked out health wise. Do your bloods, check yourself for any type of diseases, anything like that. Go and get it done. It doesn't cost anything. You should be insured in America. Over here, our taxpayers' money pays for it. So go and get yourself sorted. And yeah, thank you so much for joining. But like I said, I'll probably be on again on Saturday. So I will definitely look into that. Hector, you've got another suggestion. Have you all heard of the Atlanta missing kids case? Yes, I've watched numerous documentaries about the missing children of Atlanta. There's a documentary, I think, on this Discovery Plus channel as well. Check that out. And oh, thank you, Hector. What was I going to say? The Atlanta children, there's one on Netflix, and I think there's one on Discovery Plus. So yeah, I might look into that as well. You know what, guys? You guys are on point today. Thank you for all the suggestions. I appreciate it. Oh, thanks, Hector. Yeah, thank you. Yes, and breast checks. Thank you, Doreen. Go and get your boobs checks as well, ladies, for those lumps and bumps and anything like that. Men, you know what you need to check. Lumps and bumps down there. So go and get yourself checked out. Stay healthy. Look after yourself. Stay hydrated. And I'll catch you guys again next time. So thanks for the support. Again, on 3, I shall end this live the first time actually by myself. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. And thank you, Just a T, for joining. I appreciate your support. Thanks, everyone. GSP, Hector, Doreen, Raquel, Laureen, all of you regulars. I see you guys all the time. I appreciate your support. Lavon, all of you lot. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. So stay safe and want to